things we say in my tradition is that 60% of the medicine is the fire talk. So when people come and want to sit with the medicine, I say, that's great. And when you go back home, when you don't have the physical medicine, are you able to sit with the spirit of the medicine? And largely, we see that reflected in the fire talk that's been passed down orally for thousands and thousands of years. So today, I want to share some fire talk with you all from my tradition, Bwiti. So, one of the things that's incredibly important with reintegrating any plant medicine experience is that we find ourselves coming to places of not trusting our intuition, not trusting our inner guidance. Life starts to go awry when we can't hear that inner calling speaking to us and speaking to us loudly. And so, part of how that can happen is that we start to lose sight of what's actually real. Can I trust myself? Is this voice that I'm hearing internally, is it trustworthy? Will it guide me towards, greater liberation and the things that I want? Or is it a path to destruction, path to a graveyard? And so, how do we actually go about establishing truth? If part of the intention of reintegration is that in order to be happy, you have to be able to stay grounded in reality and understand what's good for you and what is misaligned and doesn't work for you as a unique human, then you have to be able to stay grounded in the truth. And so there's actually a really simple practice that we all can lean into that helps us to know what's true and what's bullshit, to be quite honest. So here it is. When we're thinking about truth, we need to go real simple and think about truth in the way that kids do. My son, so I have a 4 year old who is all types of juiciness and magic. And this brother teaches me about truth every day. When he wants to understand something, he doesn't come to me and most times and say, hey, what is this? He does like every human should do. The first thing he does and goes and picks it up, he touches it, he licks it, it more than likely gets in his mouth, and I don't care what it is. It's like why we stay sick all the time. He wants to smell it, put it up to his ear. And I'm just looking at him like, why do you do this, to your mother who's recovering from OCD? Like, why do you do this? Why don't you love me? Why would you just let me be great? But he's teaching. He's preaching, actually. He's teaching and showing all of us, so all of kids, do this, how to stay grounded in reality. He doesn't need to trust my inner wisdom. He has his own, and he is completely aware and clear of that. And so the first thing he does is let me see for myself. Can I understand? What is this thing? How do I understand what this thing is? I need to use my God-given divine senses. It's my senses that makes me the most like the creator in the first place. I need to be able to touch this, smell it, taste it, understand it, be able to hear it. What does it sound like? So when my mom tells me, oh, you're looking at a blue ball and I know that it's red, I know bullshit. That's not true. I can trust my own mind. I can trust my own seeing. I can trust my own knowing. So for us as adults, how do we apply this to every other aspect of our lives? It's really quite simple. It looks like this. You're in love. What a beautiful human thing to feel love deeply for another human, another soul, another living being. You're in love with someone. I'm looking at this brother and I'm like, I love you. And he's like, yeah, I love you too. First thing, pay attention to what you're seeing. Does his body language convey? Does something about his face just ain't quite, adding up, just ain't making, sense. I smell this brother. You smell like another woman. You smell, I can smell her perfume on you. And your mama live 8 states away. I know you ain't, got your mama sit on you. I can smell another woman on you. I'm using all my senses. And then when you are completely grounded in reality, and only if you're completely grounded in reality, you can trust that inner wisdom. You can trust that knowing, that intuition that's just like, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. This is not in alignment for me. All it takes is 3 senses. Out of the 6 senses that we have, your ability to taste, your ability to smell, your ability to see, your ability to touch, your ability to hear, and then your ability to intuit, to know, to really tap in to that divine inner knowing. If you can at least verify that, yeah, three of my senses, this thing checks out, then go ahead and accept it as truth. But if you can't, this is where it gets nuanced. The baseline is, I don't know. You got to be comfortable sitting in the I don't know. And for me, the religious tradition that I grew up in, that was a really scary place to be. There was some stuff that you needed to accept blindly. You needed to accept it because I said so. You need to accept it because if you don't, there's eternal, damnation, that's coming for you. And look, if this is helpful, use it. If not, then leave it right here. What I'm really trying to gently get us to think about is we are created in the image of the ultimate creator. I know that to mean that our senses are part of what that reflection looks like. And so when we think about why these senses are so important, how they help us navigate, how they help us to be clear, how they help us to know, yep, don't go this way, or yep, yeah, what you're saying is out of alignment for me. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing that we need to trust and take to the bank. It's beautiful. We need to embrace it. We need to hold on to it for dear life, because the truth of the matter is none of us have been to the afterlife. None of us have died and are still walking around here now. Show me the person. None of us have died, crossed over, and came back and been like, you know what? They got a McDonald's there. Like, ain't nobody did that, right? Which is fine. There's no, judgment here. There's other things that you can do. You can interact, with the spirit world when you're sitting with plant medicine. All these other wonderful things you can do, but ain't nobody figured out how to die, go wherever we're going when we die, and come back. The point of that being, so how is it that we can speak so confidently about what happens when we die, about all these things we haven't experienced with our senses? We haven't seen it, haven't touched it, haven't smelled it, haven't physically been there, and yet the things in front of us confuse us so much. The things in front of us that we can see, touch, interact with, have experience with, we're saying to ourselves, I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the primary reasons that pushes most of us into wanting to sit with these master teachers in the first place. It's because we've lost that inner compass. We've lost that ability to really tap in and be connected with our soul and let it guide us like the GPS that it was meant to be. So if you're struggling around staying grounded, if you're struggling around trusting your intuition, if you've noticed in relationships, there's some places where you've put yourself in situations that don't honor you, this is a beautiful, beautiful, simple practice to tap into. And your child will teach you how to do it. Just pay attention to them. They're even better teachers than definitely than me. All right, I love y'all. Let me know in the chat if you're using, your senses in this way. Have you thought about it, in this way? Or maybe go try it and then come back and let me know your reflections. All right, peace. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Love you.